Hello YouTube, in from the bedroom here. You could tell Junky with this. Let's make some noise everyone can complain about. And stick around afterwards. Have I got a little story for you. See what happens. Volume helps, right? Yeah. Really not in the mood for playing today. And I'll tell you why. So, what we have here is, I think it's a made in Mexico Fender Telecaster FSR. I think I got it right. HH. HH stands for, of course, two humbuckers. Volume and tone, no splitting. By the way, I've seen in other videos, I didn't take this one apart, that it is shielded in there. Sweet. I did see in other videos that underneath the pickups, it is shielded. Sweet. So, get rid of that. Yeah, you've got your input jack, as you would see on a Fender Telecaster. You have a maple neck and fingerboard, all one piece. Glossy on one side, satin finish on the other side. I believe it's it's either a bone nut, you can correct me in the comments, or a graphite bone nut, something like that. Really don't remember. And yeah, it's got the original kind of vintage saddles on the bridge, which I really like the most on any kind of Fender. I just think it gives it a better tone, my opinion. I don't like the big square metal ones that they use now. It's, the chrome ones. I think they make it brighter. This gives it more of a vintage tone, even if you have humbuckers in there. So the sweet thing is, besides the fact that it's got a belly cut, this is seafoam pearl painted. It's got like a metallic metal flake to it. They use silver. They put in the paint to do that. Headstock is just as glossy as the front of the fingerboard. The back is satin. 21 medium jumbo frets. I wish it had 22. I'm used to 22. I've been going back and forth between 22 and 24, and I'm much more comfortable with the 22 fret guitar for whatever reason. But when I got this one here, the only thing I had to do to it is I had to set the neck, and I had to adjust the intonation on a D, A, and E string. I also had to set the pickups. Now, I had to just set the adjustment on the pickup on the bridge. That was it. Then I had to set the adjustment of the height on the bridge, as well as the neck, and then I had to adjust the pickup itself, the magnets inside. It was a little warm sounding, and I want it, when I'm going from neck to bridge, I want it to be equivalent. I want it to be an equal tone. I don't want one to be louder or lower than the other. And when I got to the neck, once I got the volume the way I wanted, it was still a bit warm, so I just brought the magnet down a little bit on the first 3 strings, just to, you know, take that warm tone out of it, and then just bring the magnet up a little bit on the first, you know, 3 strings. So it kind of, it just made it a little bit, took the warmth out of it and just made it a little bit more brighter, and it sounds amazing. So there was a couple of these that I saw for sale. There was one that was cheaper than this. There was this one, then there was, everyone besides this was going up in price. And I picked this one because I thought the neck looked the nicest out of all of them. And the fact that the Fender logo is upside down, the plate. The stickers are right side up, but the plate is upside down. And I even asked the guy, you can see that the screws weren't messed with, because as soon as you put a screwdriver on something like that, it kind of chews up the screws. And I even asked the guy, he says, no, I think it just came like that. So sweet, you know. Yeah, so when I was playing it, I'm going from the neck to the bridge to the neck. And I do that, right? Just do that, and boom! The cap comes off the toggle switch, it goes flying. I found it, and I went on Amazon, and I bought a set of 4, like the top hat, and I replaced them on all my tellies. I have, this is one of 3 telly videos that I'm going to be putting up. These are 3 tellies that they're keepers, especially this one, right from the get-go. And you could see the top hat. You can see how much higher it is. And especially when I go down to the volume, look at that. That's all I have to do. The other one was the equal height to that, and I had to slip my finger in there. And you'll see on one of the 3 tellies that before I replaced the toggle cover or knob or end cap, I put a smaller knob on so I can fit my finger in there and do it. Now after this one popped off and I just got a new one, I put them on all of them, and I could put the original knob back on if I want to. You have to wait for that when I get to that, because that's a sweet, it looks cool with the smaller knob on there, even though I changed the toggle switch cap on the end. So yeah, so this thing here, right away as soon as I got it. And what's funny is that when I asked about it, I said it says fair condition or good. And the guy said this thing is like, it's a brand new guitar. He says it doesn't have any play on it whatsoever. I don't know why it said fair or good. He says it's in excellent shape. So I'm like, okay, pull the trigger on it. And I'll tell you why. Did I mention the belly cut? You see that belly cut? Look at that belly cut. Would you look at that? I had ordered a 2008 red Fender Telecaster, dual humbuckers, maple neck and fingerboard, black pickguard, and it even had the metal bridge plate with the pickup inside. And I'll show you my other 2 tellies. They have those plates with the pickups in it, whether it be a single or a humbucker. And I was like, that's what I really like. I don't like it separate from the pickup. I like it all in one, just making it look more like a real telly. Just like I like the volume and tone. I don't know why they don't put the volume knob right here a little bit farther away from the switch, But, you know, that's just me. So, yeah, that's all I had to do is change that, and now I love it. Now it's like sweet. I can switch between pickups and not worrying about it. I could do it quickly, and I'm totally satisfied. This is a keeper, even though it's made in Mexico. I don't care, because I've got guitars made in, you know, Vietnam, Indonesia, South Korea. So yeah, this is sweet. Now the reason why I bought this is because the red one, that's 2008. See, I veered off there. It said great condition, and when I got it, it wasn't in great condition. Where the metal plate was, someone, this is how, I'm getting ahead of myself. I checked it out. I didn't have to set the neck. I didn't have to set the intonation. I didn't have to do anything. It was pretty much close to being in tune to E. Started playing it, and I'm like, as soon as I plugged it in and I tapped on the guitar, I could hear like I'm tapping on a microphone. So I picked it up and I could start speaking through the pickup coming out of the amp. I put on my overdrive, and oh man, the feedback was unwanted, and I could talk through it. It was crazy. So then I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, this is a Fender guitar with Fender pickups. Why is that one doing that? But I didn't have the problem in the neck. So I'm looking and I see that they look, you know, the bridge pickup on the red one, the chrome cover didn't match the color of the chrome cover on the neck. As I'm looking at it, I could see where the metal plate was. Someone must have routed to put a humbucking pickup, and you could see the hole. You could see a gap on each side, bigger on here and smaller on here, where I could put a guitar pick in it. And I'm like, man. And I had gotten it last week. I had it for a couple of days, and I'm trying to talk myself into keeping it because that's how much I like the guitar. The look, the feel, the neck, you know. And I'm like, I'll just replace the pickup. So I ordered a pickup. I'm still waiting for the pickup to come in. I don't know what I'm going to do with it now when I get it, but I ordered a pickup, and I figured I'll just change the pickup, and I can get over that. I couldn't get over that. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Then I'm thinking I'll just get pinstripe tape and black it out around it. But then I'm always going to know that there's a hole underneath there. And you know me, if, you know, 3 months to a year, if I don't play the guitar, or, you know, the romance is over, the honeymoon is gone, the love affair ended, I'm going to put it up for sale on Craigslist. And I was trying to talk myself into keeping it, but I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. And this week, I was trying every day to bring it back, the Guitar Center, but I had people coming to give me quotes on my hot water heater, and I got to be home all day for them to show up. And so I had to wait till today, being Thursday, to return it. And you know me, as soon as I get a guitar, if I have an issue with it, you know, within a day or two, that guitar is going back. The only guitar I had probably the longest at one time was the SG Epiphone Custom Shop. And that's because the neck felt like a baseball bat. And when you got past the 12th fret, the strings were dead. They were just dead. It was the frets. It wasn't the strings. They sounded fine up here. Once you got here, all the frets, they would fret out. You know what I mean? So yeah, if there's a problem with the electronics, the pickup, or the frets, I bring it back immediately. I'm not going to go through what I went through with my last Chevelle, that I had to bring it back 3 times because the toggle, the tremolo, the tone knob was busted. I had to bring it back there 3 times for their technician to screw it up 3 times, and then finally get it to make it right. And I'm not gonna play that. Homie don't play that. I'm not gonna go through that anymore. So I brought it back today, and when I brought it back, you know, a guy came over to help me, and I took it out and I'm holding it, and I said, what can I help you? I says, I got to return. He takes it out of my hands yet again, and he starts playing it. And he says, what's the matter with it? I says, it's got a defect. He goes, well, what's wrong with it? I said, well, you have to give it back to me in order for me to show you the defect. So he gives it back to me. I asked him for the pick. I show the hole. I says, there's a hole here and a hole here. I said, you can't miss it once you see it. So he does this. You can clearly see it, but doesn't say anything. So I'm like, okay. And I don't remember if he said anything else wrong with it or I just volunteered. I says, and also, that's not the right pickup in the guitar. It's a microphonic pickup. I says, you could talk to it. That's how bad it is. I says, and you know me, I play all my guitars right here, right next to the amp. And I did it with this one and no problems. I couldn't even tell if I had it on, if I didn't have the standby off or not, because I didn't hear that hum coming. So yeah, that's it. I said, so that, it said great condition. That's not in great condition. That's been altered. So it's not 100%. And they say all the time, you've got 45 days, no questions asked, but they always ask. And they say, if you don't like it, you have any problems with it, you can bring it back and get a full refund. Well, I liked it, but I had a problem with it. So I wanted a full refund. And he didn't pay me the full refund. He took the shipping off. And I asked him why. He says, well, because it's a used item. I said, but it's defective. I said, I only return a guitar when it's defective. I says, and when I return it, I want a full refund, because it's told to me that if I have a problem, if there's an issue, and I can get a full refund and get my shipping back, which I've done in the past. Now all of a sudden there's an issue. You could clearly see the wood is missing. And if he took the time to plug it in while he was sitting there playing it, he would see that the pickup is like a microphone. So, I said to him, yeah, I wanted shipping as well. He was trying to tell me otherwise. Dumps me off on somebody else. They said, I got to come back to speak to the manager. I said, I don't want to come back. I said, why can't? I said, if that was the case when I said I wanted a refund, I wanted a full refund, why didn't he mention that before he went through with it? Now he wants to go through with it, and they can't add it on. I have to wait for the manager. So I have to call the manager. So, as I'm speaking to him, I says, you could see the defect in the wood. I says, that's not 100%. That guitar is, I says, so he turns his back on me, and I kept on saying, with his back to me as he's totally ignoring me, and the pickup, I told you the pickup was no good. So 2 reasons right there. Needless to say, I get home, I have to wait for the manager to show up. I call him up. Now, I normally don't have a problem with this manager. I get along great with him. Guy's name is James, and I've dealt with him before, and he does the right thing. He runs that shop better than anyone else that I've seen run it, going back to the previous managers. So I said, hey, James, it's Richard Olson. He knows it's me. And I said, do you hear about the return? Yeah, my guy told me about it, but let me hear what you have to say. I told him, and he says, well, it's a used guitar, so, it's used. And I said, yeah, but it's in great shape. I says, it's not in great shape. I says, the pickup didn't work right. I said, that was replaced. I says, and you could see the wood is missing. I said, so if I were to sell this down the road, I wouldn't be able to resell it because of that issue. And I can't live with it. Once I see it, I can't unsee it. So what does he say to me? He says, do you flip guitars? And that mashed my freaking potatoes right there. And I said, no, I don't flip guitars. I have a YouTube channel. I buy them. I put them on my YouTube channel. I keep them for, a couple of months. And I rotate them in and out of the case. But if I don't, if the love affair is over with the guitar, then I sell it. And I sell it on Craigslist. And I never, ever, make a bust. I make a deal. I never make a profit, I should say. I either lose some money or I break even. It's very rare when I have something and I've had it for a while and the price goes up and I make money on it. But I don't do it to flip intentionally. And he shouldn't have never said that. That just wasn't the right thing. And I said, with the 100 guitars that I bought, over 100 guitars that I bought from Guitar Center, I didn't return 100 guitars. He says, I can see that you return a lot, like I'm a frequent returner. Only when I have an issue with it. If I don't have an issue, I keep them. And I have, they're valid issues. So yeah, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So if I could see, if they put it back on their inventory in their store in Clearwater, Florida, you see a 2008 red Telecaster. I'm going to take a picture of it, and I'm going to use that as my thumbnail instead of, you know, a thumbnail with this guitar. And I'll mention something, not to confuse anybody. But in any case, yeah, another. I really don't even want to go to the guitar set in Clearwater, Florida, if I really don't have to, because I'm just, unless a year or so goes by and everyone is gone, because people never last there for that long. I want to avoid it like the plague, because it's not worth the aggravation. So thanks for watching. Have a good day, and a better tomorrow. Sorry for the rant again. I should call myself Grumpy Beatty from the bedroom.